Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We have more gaming and PlayStation news, rumours and leaks to cover. So let's start with something that's been getting a lot of excitement in the gaming community, especially for fans of Resident Evil, and that is the upcoming Resident Evil Requiem. It looks like fans might be getting the return of a very familiar face. According to a recent leak from PlayStation Portugal, the game's Deluxe Edition pre-order page might have accidentally given away a huge surprise, and that is the return of Leon S. Kennedy. Now, for long-time fans of Resident Evil, that name alone probably triggers a mix of nostalgia and excitement. Leon's been one of the most iconic figures in the franchise since his first appearance back in 1998's Resident Evil 2. He's faced bioterror on every scale, from the chaos of Raccoon City to the horrors of Europe in Resident Evil 4, and it seems Capcom isn't done with him just yet. The leak mentions that along with Grace Ashcroft's pre-order bonus costume, there will be an additional outfit for Leon, hinting that he's more than just a cameo. Leaker Dusk Golem, who's known for his credible Resident Evil insight, doubled down on this, saying Leon is actually the game's second playable character. Now, if true, that means Resident Evil Requiem won't just introduce us to a new protagonist, it'll also tie back to one of the most beloved heroes in the series. Resident Evil Requiem is set decades after the destruction of Raccoon City. 30 years later, we follow Grace Ashcroft, an FBI agent investigating a string of grisly murders inside a mysterious hotel. She's also the daughter of Alicia Ashcroft from Resident Evil Outbreak, so the story has a deep connection to past events and hopefully ties things up nicely. The developers confirmed that at some point in the game, players will revisit the ruins of Raccoon City. That alone sets the stage for a mix of nostalgia and new horror. It's slated for release on February 27th, 2026 across PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and even Nintendo Switch 2. And while Capcom hasn't officially shown Leon in any of its trailers, it's hard to ignore the mounting hints, the rumors, and the leaks over the past few months. Could his story somehow intermingle with Grace's investigation? Could we be witnessing a passing of the torch from one generation of survivors to another? Only time will tell, but it looks like it's going to be one of the most intriguing entries in the series so far. Now, still on the subject of Resident Evil Requiem, Capcom has announced that a full Resident Evil showcase will take place in early 2026, just before the game's release. It'll dive deeper into what we can expect from the story, the gameplay, and maybe, just maybe, confirm finally Leon's return once and for all. To tide fans over, Capcom released a short video called Road to Requiem, narrated by Maggie Robertson, the voice behind Lady Dumitrescu. The video recaps the series' key moments leading up to this point, helping both old and new fans catch up on decades of the game's history. Interestingly, the recap skips a few chapters like Resident Evil 0, Code Veronica, and Resident Evil 4, which makes you wonder whether Capcom is intentionally keeping certain storylines under wraps because they'll tie directly into Requiem. Either way, it's clear Capcom is gearing up for something big. With the return to Raccoon City and a dual protagonist setup, Resident Evil Requiem could blend the best of the series' old school horror with its modern cinematic storytelling. Very exciting stuff indeed, especially if you are a fan of the Resident Evil games. Now, moving on to our next piece, and this one's from a studio that knows a thing or two about cinematic storytelling. Naughty Dog, the studio behind The Last of Us and Uncharted, is hard at work on its next big title, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. And while we still don't have a release date, things might be further along than we initially thought. A recent wave of job listings for quality assurance and localization roles suggest the project could be entering its final stages of development. These are usually the kind of positions studios fill when a game is in its final polishing mode and when the heavy lifting is done and the team is focused on fine-tuning every little detail. So could that mean Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet is closer than expected? Maybe, but with Naughty Dog, it's never quite that simple. The studio is famously meticulous, taking as much time as needed to perfect its games, even if it means multiple delays. When it was announced back at the Game Awards in 2024, no timeline was given, but given Sony's recent release strategy of only announcing games when they are within 12 to 18 months away from release, it does suggest that the game is in its very final stages of development. Still, fans are eager. The title Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet alone sparks a lot of curiosity. What kind of world are we stepping into here. A futuristic space setting, a morally complex story. Knowing Naughty Dog is bound to mix deep character-driven storytelling with cutting-edge visuals, and no doubt there will be some controversy, as there always is. And that brings up an interesting question, with studios now revealing games much closer to release. Could this more secretive approach actually build more excitement? Maybe the less we know about these types of games, the more we want to see them. Whatever the case, Naughty Dog's next venture seems to be slowly approaching orbit, and when it finally lands, it's probably going to be one of the biggest launches of the decade, along with GTA 6. Let me know your thoughts on Intergalactic. How excited are you for this game? Personally, I cannot wait. Despite the controversy of their last game, Naughty Dog have never, ever let me down when they make a game. It's always brilliant. It's a great gaming experience playing a Naughty Dog game. It's always of the highest quality and typically sets the benchmark for action or adventure games. Now, moving on to another classic franchise, and one that is apparently expanding beyond its usual home. So Halo, we know, just got confirmed for the PlayStation 5, right? We know that. It caused some people to go nuts on the internet. But after confirmation that Halo Combat Evolved Remake is heading to PlayStation 5, a new report suggests that both Halo 2 and Halo 3 remakes are also in the pipeline. According to a source known as Halo Leaks, these won't just be upscaled versions, they will be the full-blown remakes, featuring updated gameplay mechanics, including modern movement like sprint, very much like the Halo Combat Evolved remake. So for years, Halo has been synonymous, right, with Xbox. Seeing it move into PlayStation territory does mark a massive change, and pretty much confirmation that Microsoft is done with console exclusivity. Microsoft have been bringing over more and more games to PlayStation, and bringing over all of the Halo games is pretty much the final straw. The same leak also mentions that Halo 7 is already in development, focusing heavily on competitive multiplayer. If true, this could mean we're about to see a complete rebuild of the Halo experience, the original trilogy revamped for modern consoles, followed by a brand new entry that ties it all together. Now, whether these plans stretch out over years or even a decade, one thing is pretty clear: Microsoft wants Halo back on top, and maybe this cross-platform strategy is the only way they could do it. To see Halo back on top, like it used to be in the Xbox 360 days, it looks like Microsoft is going to need PlayStation's help in getting it back to where it belongs. Because let's be honest here, guys, for those that played Halo back in the days, it was a brilliant experience. I certainly enjoyed it. It was the reason why I actually went out and bought an Xbox, was to play the Halo games to start with, followed by Gears of War. So to see it back with a brand new Halo 7 game playable from day one on PlayStation is massive. And the remakes of the first 3 games coming to PlayStation 5 just shows that Microsoft is warming everybody up here, trying to get as many people back into the Halo frame of mind and the Halo universe before they go ahead and release Halo 7 with its new multiplayer game mode. It's exciting times if you're a fan of the Halo games, especially with the games coming to PlayStation, but I guess it's also a sad time if you care about Xbox exclusives and the Xbox brand identity, because at this rate, Microsoft is just completely going to make sure they eradicate the brand of Xbox. Anyway, that's a conversation for a separate video. Great news that we are getting 3 Halo remake games onto PlayStation, and of course looking forward to the new Halo 7 with its multiplayer. So moving on, let's talk about something horror fans have been waiting on for quite some time, and this is the Silent Hill 2 remake finally making its way to Xbox, but there are also some additional caveats here. After years of speculation and a fair amount of silence from Konami, it looks like the fog is finally clearing. According to a new ESRB rating, Silent Hill 2 Remake has been rated for Xbox, which all but confirms that an official announcement is right around the corner, which brings me on to some excellent news potentially in the making. Now, if you've been following this remake since it launched on PlayStation 5 and PC, you'll know it's a big deal. The game marked the return of one of the most influential survival horror titles ever made, a series that practically defined psychological horror for an entire generation. The remake, developed by Bloober Team, reimagines the classic story of James Sunderland's haunting journey into the town of Silent Hill in a search for his late wife after receiving a mysterious letter from her. It's dark, it's emotional, and deeply unsettling. Everything that made the original so powerful, rebuilt for modern audiences. You might be thinking, so what's new here? Well, While the Xbox release itself isn't much of a surprise, especially after Dusk Golem did hint that it was coming, however the bigger news is what's coming alongside it. Reports suggest that Konami and Bloober Team are planning to roll out a remade version of Born from a Wish DLC, as well as finally fixing the PlayStation 5 upgrade patch to enhance performance and fix lingering technical issues. If you're new to the series, Born from a Wish was an additional campaign originally included in the Silent Hill 2 Director's Cut. It told the story of Maria, a mysterious woman who plays a central role in the main game, and it added incredible depth to the overall narrative. Now, the DLC explored Maria's perspective, her existence, and her turmoil within the twisted reality of Silent Hill. It was a short campaign, but one that added real emotional weight and complexity to the game world. Now, with reports that it's being remade alongside the Xbox release, fans might finally get a modern retelling of that emotional side story with updated visuals, improved sound design, and new gameplay tweaks to match the remake's overall tone. That alone could be a huge win for longtime fans of this series. Many have said that Born from a Wish is essential to fully understand the symbolism and emotional layers of Silent Hill 2, and if it's done right, this could make the remake feel more complete and cohesive, not just a nostalgia piece, but a truly definitive edition of one of gaming's most haunting series. Now, the other piece of this puzzle is the rumored update to the PlayStation 5 Pro patch. Since launch, Silent Hill 2 Remake has been praised for its atmosphere and fidelity, but it hasn't been without performance hiccups. We've seen frame rate drops, occasional stuttering, and lighting inconsistencies, which were all noted by players, especially during heavy fog or combat sequences. And with the PlayStation 5 Pro console expected to deliver stronger performance and graphical enhancements, the PS5 Pro enhanced version didn't really deliver, as it had many of these issues, which players said took away from the Silent Hill experience. So with Bloober Team revisiting Silent Hill 2 for an Xbox release, and with the new DLC imminent, it makes perfect sense to revisit the PlayStation 5 Pro patch and fix a damn thing once and for all. And with the PlayStation 5 Pro patch, we're talking about smoother frame rates, better gameplay, faster loading times, and improved lighting to fully appreciate and capture that Silent Hill atmosphere. And with the PlayStation 5 Pro patch fully working, we're going to get to see textures that look fantastic, environmental effects that take advantage of the PlayStation 5 Pro's upgraded GPU, making the fog thicker, the shadows deeper, and the world even more unnerving. All of these updates, from the Xbox announcement to the DLC and the PlayStation 5 Pro upgrade fix, are expected to align with the release of the upcoming Return to Silent Hill movie, which hits theaters on January the 23rd, 2026. It's a smart move from a marketing standpoint to get all of these balls in a line, right? Releasing or updating the game around the same time as the film keeps the franchise in the spotlight, and it gives fans something new to explore on both the gaming and cinematic fronts. It also brings back the synergy that Silent Hill has always thrived on, where games, films, and atmosphere all blend into one chilling universe. It's been years since Silent Hill has had this much momentum. Between Silent Hill 2 Remake, Silent Hill F, Silent Hill Townfall, and now the upcoming Return to Silent Hill in theaters, it feels like Konami is finally breathing life back into a franchise that's been dormant for far too long. The Xbox release is a big part of that revival. It opens the door for a whole new audience. Players who have never owned a PlayStation or experienced the original game, it finally gives them the opportunity to step into the fog. So if the leaks are accurate, we'll probably see official announcements in the coming weeks ahead, potentially timed with the first major marketing push for the Return to Silent Hill movie. That would mean trailers, release dates, and maybe even a look at the remade Born from a Wish content. And who knows, maybe Konami has even more up its sleeve, like a physical definitive edition. Well, only time will tell. Okay guys, let's move on and talk about something that's sneaking its way into the spotlight. Thief VR Legacy of Shadow. This one's from Vertigo Games and Maze Theory, and it's bringing stealth action into virtual reality like never before. It's set to release on December the 4th for PlayStation VR 2, Steam VR, and MetaQuest. The game takes us back to the city, a steampunk-inspired world ruled by the oppressive Baron Ulysses Northcrest. His city watch keeps the streets under control, crushing any rebellion before it can begin. A player step into the shoes of Magpie, an orphan-turned-thief who's learned to survive by stealing from the powerful. But when Magpie uncovers a mysterious artifact tied to a long-forgotten past, the story changes into something much deeper. A conspiracy that could reshape the city itself. And players will navigate rooftops, dark alleys, and hidden passages, all brought to life with immersive VR gameplay. Your pit locks, disarm traps, and outsmart guards, not just with a controller, but with your own hands. It's the kind of experience that could redefine how stealth games feel in virtual reality, and the timing couldn't be better as well. With the PlayStation VR 2 and next-gen VR tech advancing fast, Thief VR Legacy of Shadow might become the title that finally nails the full potential of stealth gameplay in VR mode. So whether you're a fan of old school stealth or just curious about where VR gaming is headed, this one's definitely worth keeping an eye on. And as someone who's keen to experience PlayStation VR 2 for myself over the next few weeks, I'm keeping an eye on as many new games heading to VR as possible. So if you do plan on playing this game or giving it a try, let me know how you get on in the comments. Right guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching, and as always, I'll catch you on the next video.